You've been told you can't target belly fat. That's a myth. But that misses the real question. Why is your body storing fat there in the first place? Think of that stubborn fat like a locked savings account. The problem isn't the money, it's that you don't know your password. It's not some magic food or crazy exercise, it's a specific fuel system your body needs to finally make withdrawal. And today I'm giving you that password. Hi, my name is Boris Kish. I'm an IFBB license coach, professional nutritionist, and a super heavyweight bodybuilding competitor in the over 100 kilo category, which is over 220 pounds on stage. I'm 6'4" tall, which is 193 centimeters. Welcome to my channel. Now let's break the myth. Where is your fat actually? Where is your fat in your body? And why is it going at some places fast and why is it going at some places slow? You have to know that you have two types of fat. So let's not get into, I don't want to get into the science with you too much. I would like to say that you have this, visceral fat that is around your organs, right? And that you have another one that is under the skin. And unfortunately, as a man, you have to just think logically. Around the belly area is where your organs are, right? And this is where unfortunately, you have organs, visceral fat around those organs, plus you have the fat that is under the skin that is mostly around that, stomach area. And why is it going the slowest there? There are actually few very simple explanations. I mean, first of all, you have to know that body is storing, as a man, when you're a man, right? Fat over there as a reserve. The body doesn't know, are you going to the war? Are you going to starve? What is your financial situation? Do you have enough food in the refrigerator? The body doesn't make the difference. Are you going to the gym? Or what is actually happening? Are you doing this for the health reasons, for the aesthetical reasons? The body simply thinks that, better to store their reserves, who knows what's going to happen later. And, of course, when the cortisol is up, the stress hormone and insulin when it's up, the hormone that is your pancreas creating, that is storing, unfortunately, all the fat over there. And this is when the problem occurs. And, it's not like, the body is taking the fat at the last over there because it has a magical system that is storing it there, for later, and it goes everywhere faster, than the stomach. That's a lie. That's absolutely not the truth. And, because the body is simply taking fat from under the skin equally from every area. You understand? And let's be honest, over there I have, when I don't take care of myself the most, and this is why it goes the last, And let me explain you a little metaphor. How does that function? I mean, imagine if you have a house, right? Big house. If you live in a flat like me, some relatives of your family, right, have a house. And in the house is the basement, or for example, below the seat of the car. But let's stick with the basement. I mean, every room that you clean every day, right? It can be cleaned pretty easily. Maybe you do a little bit with the vacuum cleaner, you scrub here and there something, and you can clean the whole room in 30 minutes if you did this regularly. But when you go to the basement that you didn't clean for, let's say, 10 years, right? Like that stomach that didn't came there overnight, in a week or in a month, it will take a little bit longer. I mean, to clean that base, and there is a solution. I'm going to give you the solution. I mean, that basement is not going to be cleaned with a little bit of vacuum cleaner. You have to take Seal Bang, Domestos, Mr. Proper, and who knows how many other stuffs, and you have to scrub and clean maybe for 2 whole days until your eyes almost fell out. It's not what's going to be here. I'm going to explain you, don't worry, there is hope, but it's also something that requires much more work. You know, where you have the most fat is going to take the longest process, but there is of course hope. I mean, I did that million times in my 25 years of career, and when I was competing, even when I was preparing myself for the beach, and now the summer is coming, so I will get that fat from you very quickly. If I could do it, that I'm not blessed with genetics that I can eat whatever I can, so can you, don't worry. So the most important thing is that you don't do the calorie deficit below 2,500 calories, because you're going to, sorry, I just ate, you know, the basal metabolism of an average male is spending 3,000 calories per day if you go 4 times per week to the gym, and if you are doing cardio at least 30 minutes, you know, per day. Before I explain, I want to say when I'm speaking about the gym now, I created 3 completely free training splits that you can get. Join the coaching newsletter and I'm going to send them straight to your email. Now, you know, going down below 2,500 calories, it's not good, because, you know, the body, the ghrelin and leptin hormones that are reducing the fat burning and the hunger are also slowing down. I mean, if you believe in God or in Darwin's theory or in evolution, you know, I believe in the divine. Of course, you know, you would know that as long as you are, I mean, every time when you're pulling back, when you're reducing the calories, the body is adapting. You know, in my language, we say the body is a whore, right? Because it can always adapt. So no matter how low you go with the calories, you will hit the plateau. I mean, the stupidest thing that you can do is go 0 carb, 0 fat, as I did many times when I was really young, and you will hit a wall after 3 weeks, it won't function. So never go below 2,500 calories. And just think about this logically. Bodybuilders, let's say on Mr. Olympia, trust me, when they're preparing, usually they're not going even below 4,000 calories. And you think this is not because of some steroids and growth hormones and shit. Trust me, been there, did that. The best bodybuilders are not those who took the most. There are really small doses that actually work for longevity. Otherwise, all of them would be dead. The point is that you know how to train properly and diet properly. How they're being in shape with so many calories per day, because they're training really heavy, a lot, they're professional, they're dedicated, and in off season they have 6-pack. They never go too much, you know, into the sumo wrestling mode, as I would say, and therefore, you know, cutting is even easier, and they mastered their macros and they speeded up their metabolism with proper nutrition that is going on for decades. Do you understand? They don't do this only once per year. They have this lifestyle non-stop, and then you can actually do that with much more calories. But for you, excuse me, 2,500 calories, going that low is more than enough. Don't go lower. And how to do this? The 3 jokers that I use, you can do any of them. I suggest that you do it like this. First, you do those 2,500 calories with carb rotations. Protein is a must-have. Protein is always 2-3 grams per kilogram. And, you know, sorry, I just forgot what I wanted to say. Yes, carbs, you know, you rotate. You rotate one day 100 grams, another day 200, then 300. When you don't train, it's 0, depending on what is your workout on that day. If you do legs, then the most. If you do chest, maybe 200. If you do arms, 100. Always play, but let's say that your maximum is 300 grams of carbs. Then with this, you know, when you hit the plateau, if this happens, usually it never happens. If you do this properly, then you go low carb, then you can go a little bit less with the calories, down to 2,100, and that's 300 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs. When you don't train is 0. And I forgot to tell you, all 3 diets have to have a cheat day on Sunday. Have one meal on Sunday where you eat everything. You have to reward yourself. I allow you to do that. Then you do the low carb principle. When you finish with the low carb, then you can do the ketogenic diet. Only fats, only protein. I would say 2-3 grams of protein, 150 grams of fat for the whole day, so that you get into the ketosis where your body is going to eat all that fat. You can go naturally with this diet even down to 5% of body fat. I can guarantee you. Can you immediately start with keto? Yes, if you can hold that on, you know. I suggest that you do rotation, low carb, keto. But, you know, if for example, you have to find what's the best for you. You know, if the low carb is the best, then do low carb. If keto. If carb rotations, do carb rotations. If you know how to master your diet properly, carb rotations is the easiest way, because you're non-stop tricking the metabolism, and ghrelin and leptin, they cannot adapt, and then the body is burning that fat super quick. So I want to tell you, you know, if you like this content that is raw, real, unfiltered, uncut, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will really appreciate it. So that's it. It's really simple. Of course, if you are stuck somewhere, if you don't know how this functions, if I didn't explain properly, feel free to ask me in the comment section. Do you relate with that? You know, tell me what's your experience. You know, what is the point where you actually hit the plateau, that you were not able to go further no matter what you did. Write me, and I will be more than happy to jump in and to help you. So this is all for today. You know, I'm pretty sure if you follow this, you will have an amazing results. And of course, if you really want to learn what's the best, simplest, easiest breakfast to get below 10% of body fat, click on this video right here, and I'll see you there.